super curious, of course, to see how Dark plays this out. As apart from Hero, I do feel like he doesn't really play that much against Protoss players too often. But regardless, it's going to be a hype series as we load into El Guione. Over here in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way. In the top right, we of course have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. He, of course, is going to be representing Talon Esports. A man who may or may not have shaved. We don't have confirmation on that yet. All we have, Dark.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player from land of China representing Mystery Gaming. It is Lancer.
I have to appreciate Casa Park specifically asking Dark that question in the winner's interview. Said, okay, Dark, now that you finally won a Premier Championship since the first one in 2 years, I believe. Not only that, but also beating your nemesis Maru to get there, blah, blah, blah. Will you finally shave? And then Dark completely copped out and said, I'll ask my fans. I'll leave it up to my fans to decide.
Yeah, that...
Shaking my head. Shaking my head, Dark.
For those that are curious, Dark originally started growing his facial hair, and he did state that he wasn't going to shave it until he won a big Premier event. And that didn't really come to pass. WTL and these World Team Leagues didn't quite count. It had to be an individual league, and he won a GSL in Park. He called him out. At this point, I think Dark he likes it. He likes the goatee. It's a part of Dark now. It's hard to picture him without it nowadays.
Exactly. I went in. They showed the GSL tribute video, I think, where they showed like players in the past playing in GSL. I saw like 2015, 2016 Dark, and I was like, who is this guy? Who's this baby?
Did have a little bit more of a baby face back then. True. Nowadays he looks a little bit more how to say cultured. There's a little bit more.
Well, he's
maturity
a now.
Yeah,
so.
he's a bad. He's a bad. True.
Trying to think about it, kind of weird to see Dark being the one to play in ESL Asia this week instead of like Hero or Classic or any of the other ones.
Mate, Dark, he's on that grind set, mate. He's on that grind set, mate. He's turning into the next Zest. Remember Zest? Mate, his mother is like called to the hospital. He's playing ESL Asia. All right, nothing's gonna stop.
He's playing from the lobby or from the waiting room.
Yeah.
He actually climbed over the receptionist's desk, and I was like, "Yo, you got games on your PC? Well, you do now."
You do now, mate. We got some ESL Asia to play, Papi. Again, Dark, I mean, on the flip side, he's got a family to feed, right? He's got a family to feed. We got to put the work in, right? Like, it's not easy being a papi. I would know.
Exactly.
You don't want your child to end up like Starduck.
Baby bonus only goes so far.
Ay. Este Starduck. Shaking my head. Do you see what he did the other day?
Still playing Hearthstone?
It was for Sparking Tunica. For Sparking Tunica, we were posting check-ins, and we were adding players to check in, and he added himself. God damn it! That's the start.
SMH, my head.
So
that's what happens. That's what happens when you let your kids play Protoss.
Yeah, this is a PSA to the
Dark.
people.
I know you said that you were. Dark. I know you said that logically speaking, you want your kids to play Protoss because they would succeed. But do they? Will they really?
It's a give and take, right? Like they succeed, but at what cost? At what cost?
Yeah.
I can hear the wheels turning. It's fine. As I said, the entire opener is going to be a Stargate opener out of Lancer, double Oracle into the main base. Queen's Road position, Spore is done, and so far the Oracles don't get much done here in the main. At the same time, Adepts, they threaten the Shade. Dark is holding on. Again, Dark known for his defense, known for his Queen control, and so far it's keeping up.
Yeah, no drones going down just yet. Queen's already in position to chase away these oracles, and in case that wasn't enough, we also have safety spores on just about every single base. Third oracle going to be rocking up, and Lancer, who has been doing a good job of keeping his oracles alive so far, is going to have just that much more energy, that much more firepower.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it has been keeping it alive, but hasn't really dealt much damage yet. Behind this, third base getting up and running, working towards a Forge and Twilight Council into +1 and Blink. Standard follow-up here out of Lancer, getting into our +1 Blink Stalker into the mid-game. Meanwhile, Dark, I was about to point out that we did delay the Roach Warren, and we are working towards Hydras. We did throw it down, just to be safe and secure, make sure we don't die suddenly, but Dark, he's already got Hydras and Lunkers on the mind.
Yeah.
What's wrong, Yaku? What's wrong?
EPA. It's fine. It's, Lunkers.
Yeah.
They're a core unit.
Yeah.
Of a Zerg army, especially in the late game.
How's your ladder been recently?
And I won one TBC.
Oh, let's go. Did they make Lunkers?
They didn't.
Nah.
They went Hydra Roach, and then just move commanded into my tank line.
They played like it was Heart of the Swarm, Papi. Oh, let's go. And for now, I mean, Dark is producing Roach Hydra as well. We do have Hydras on the way. Roaches are building up, working towards our upgrades. Now, I imagine we should be working towards Infestation Pit and a Hive Tech and a Lurker Den, but we haven't quite teched in that direction yet. Dark is still fortifying himself and building up. Likewise, so is Lancer, as we are being active with our Stalkers at least.
Meet this little army force as well, so creep cleanup is on the way, but Hydra's looking to flank.
Oh yeah, they do come in for a flank. They come in for this round. Stasis traps do connect with the Lings, and the Stalkers do manage to escape. But alas, we are making more Roaches behind this. We're cutting works at 67. That is 3 base saturation. And Dark, he is not going for the Lunkers. Yaku, you're going to be safe here because we're just doubling down with Ling Roach Hydra.
Maybe that guy beat on ladder was onto something.
I think you're giving him too much credit, man. I think you're... But here we go. Dark being hyper-aggressive with his army, knocking down that front door. Lancer is in position, that is true, but we need splash damage. We need some kind of support here, whether it's Disruptors, Colossus, or Storm. We need something. Colossus is on the way, but it's not ready yet.
It does pop out, however, and thankfully the Robo facility was placed or located in this third base location, so Dark gonna be able to, or Lancer, sorry, gonna be able to have this Colossus meet Dark's army.
Ooh, as we focus down the Robo. Robo does go down, but we have that one Colossus. Is it going to be enough as the Roach Hydra is busting on through? Stasis Trap does connect. Pretty big stasis here for Lancer.
Yeah, that's quite a number of Roaches are in this army, and Roaches are crucial right now to the defense. Stasis is, okay, not going to run out anytime soon. Once it does, though, we have surround potential here for Dark.
We do have surround potential. Stasis does run out. It's not going to be pouncing on forward. Does push in. Again, gunning for that Colossus. The Robo went down. There's 2 more Robos on the way, but no more Robo production, which means we can get on top of the army.
Oh. Yeah, we can try to as... Ooh, the Stalkers blink back, but the Colossus will end up being exposed here. Dark hammering down this army. Takes out the Colossus, the backbone of the Protoss forces, and now the third base is completely forfeit.
Yeah, 20 probes go down. The Nexus soon thereafter as well, and Dark, it looks like he has done it. He has broken the back of the Protoss, as you mentioned. Sure, we have Colossus on the way here at the 4th location. Really interesting positioning for the Robos, but it's too little too late. There's no saving the base. Not anymore.
GG is called, and Dark will be taking game number 1 with a bit of a cheeky 3 base all-in coming out from him. We did have a 4th hatch, but there was no mining.
Oh yeah. GG, well played. It was only 3 base saturation. The 4th was just for larva. But that's what was interesting to me, is we don't often see 3 base all-ins with Roach Hydra. Usually it's, you know, Ling Roach Ravager or just Ling Hydra, but to go Roach Hydra in such a way, it's quite tight just because it's so gas intensive. I don't know if you noticed, but Dark, he essentially made a wave of Hydras, and he didn't make any more Hydras from there. But he did such a great job of retaining
it was
them
just roaches.
and preserving them, making sure they were always behind a line of Lings and Roaches. And yeah, as you mentioned, just did flood Roachling across the map. Very, very kind of planned out all in from Dark, and did hit quite hard.
Yeah. So replay that guy on ladder's gonna have to look at.
There you go.
That was also in PVT though, or ZvT though when he did that. This is ZvP.
It is, and on top of that, also that much more important that Dark was able to get on top of the Robo, for example, right? The fact that there was only one Colossus and only ever one Colossus was a massive part of the effectiveness of that all in as well. So it all just kind of came into each other, and with that, we're now getting into game 2.
Indeed, we are, and we're going into all reliable Oceanborn. Over here, the top left hand corner of the map, swatting all the way in the top left. We of course have our red Zerg player. He's going to be coming down from the land of Korea. He's of course going to be representing his team, Talon Esports, and also his family. He is Dark.
Is that your Dom Toretto impression?
Yeah. Let's go with that. Family.
That's better. It's okay. That's spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn. We have the Chinese Protoss player down in this series. They're going to bounce back, representing Mystery Gaming. It is Lancer.
Oh. A bit of a pause coming up here for family matters.
Shaking my head. But yeah, we do have a bit of a pause here before we dive in. We're more than happy to oblige, and hopefully nothing too serious here. Hopefully there's no latency issues or anything like that. Once Dark is ready, we'll be jumping right back in.
Indeed, we shall.
It looks like our players are back. We're loading back in, and here we go.
Where were we?
The start of, we just introduced Cyan, or we just introduced Lancer, and then we had the pause. So nothing is happening.
There we go. Okay.
Is all good. But yeah, we are going to be settling in, and it's just going to be a Hatch Gas full standard opener here out of Dark. Likewise, get expand standard opener out of Lancer as well as we settle into our TVP, sorry, our ZvP. Again, just Dark attending to his daughter and making sure everything is okay, making sure all is good.
Yeah, making sure she's not playing Protoss.
True. No, she is playing. No, she has to be playing Protoss.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Making sure she's not playing Terran.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. As the Lancer comes in with the scout, just making sure that nothing is awry, nothing is going wrong, and we are going to be settling in. But yeah, it's crazy to think about that. More and more players, more and more established players in StarCraft
are growing up.
Yeah, they're like making families, and you know, they're discussing their children, you know, mid-game, stuff like that. It's true. It's very surreal, very surreal.
Yeah.
This is growing up.
I guess this is growing up. Yeah. Nothing makes me feel older.
Mm-hmm. Nah, you're still a Zoomer, Yaku. You're fine. You're fine. Don't worry.
That is true. I still have a couple of good years left in me.
Yeah, a couple.
I can still crab for a while.
Yeah. All good. All good.
Anybody's playing these new RTSs, I'm here being a crab.
Feels bad, man. Feels bad.
Playing the crab shooter.
Mm-hmm. But for now, we're going to be settling in, and it is going to be another Stargate opener. Interesting, as it's a Stargate into a Void Ray, by the way, from a Lancer, and not an Oracle-based opener, which I do appreciate. If you remember last game, it was a while ago now, just because of the pause.
I forgot that we had this is game one.
Yeah,
I forgot we had a game played out earlier.
that was a little downtime. True. But in game one, we had triple Oracle, and if you remember, the Oracles actually didn't really do a lot of damage. Like, the stasis traps were amazing defensively, but like offensively, we didn't really achieve too much. So I appreciate that Lancer is taking a bit of a different approach this time.
Yeah, playing it out a bit safer. I mean, he did rally that Void Ray all the way across the map as opposed to keeping it at home, taking out the Overlord right outside that third base. But you know what? He gets the Overlord right outside Dark's third base, so worth it.
Yeah, gets one and is going for another as well. And it looks like, oh, can we get it? It looks like we can. There's enough energy for transfuse. 2 Overlords go down. The Void Ray turns back around, and we can get a 3rd Overlord as well. So very nice value here out of Lancer. Does supply block Dark. And back at home, the Lings will not deter the third base. It will get up and running.
Yeah. So very quickly, Lancer's going to be able to establish his own 3-base economy. Void Ray getting a little bit too bold, but thankfully Lancer is quick to react, pulls away before losing it. Takes quite a bit of hull damage, but still acceptable.
Yeah, it does pull back, does survive. We have the Stalker to shut down the Overlord. Meanwhile, Oracle towards the natural base, or even towards the third. But Queens are in position, and the Oracle shouldn't get much done. Ooh, as we do not get a drone. Oh my god, we have a bit of mismicro there. The Oracle will survive, but just barely.
Yeah, one more volley, that would have been the end of Void Ray, however, will also survive.
Oh my god.
But also just barely.
Oh my god. Calm down, Poppy, calm down. Second Oracle has made it in. This time it looks like, once again, no economic damage dealt here. We have been second guessing ourselves a little bit, and because of that, a lot of these drones are getting low, but none of them are actually falling.
Yeah, they're just getting hit a little bit to remember what it's like to be alive, and but not actually going down.
Excuse me. What did you say?
You know, the drones, they're just, it's nothing serious. It's just a couple of scratches.
Yeah. There you go. They just want to get that blood pumping.
Exactly.
As we have Lancer across the map getting into his own setup as well. Again, +1. Blink, bit of a gateway explosion. How many gateways in total? It's going to be an 8-gate setup here, but we're taking up as well. It's not going to be an 8-gate all-in. We are taking gases at the third and working towards a bay for Colossus.
Yeah, typical Protoss things. This time his rover facility is a lot more secure and a lot more hidden. So if it is going to be another all-in coming out from Dark, Lancer is going to be able to keep his production going at the very least. As we see a lot of roaches in production, we see 2 Dropalords. I was going to say, this is Oceanborn. With that many roaches, it feels pretty inevitable, doesn't it?
Yeah, again, all-ins are very commonplace on Oceanborn, and Darky is no exception to the rule. We're cutting workers at how many drones? 66 drones. That is 3-base saturation. We're going for the German taxi. Roaches, Lings, and Queens. This is a much more standard all-in here out of Dark. This time, there's no fancy Hydra production. You know, there's no teching up into any further tech. Nah, Pappy. It's just Roaches, Lings, and Queens.
Especially the Queens. Yeah, so far Lancer has been doing whatever he can to try to keep this at bay. Some pretty good starter stepping with these Stalkers, but he's starting to run out of room to kite. He loses a couple of them, not too many.
Yeah, there we go. Some roaches, some Lings do fall down, but here we go. The Dropalords have it right. The Queens are dropped over. They can start creep. They can transfuse. They can maintain the Roach army. Now, behind this, we have shield batteries and cannons on the way, but the shield battery actually isn't quite ready yet. We don't have the overcharge.
That we do not. Meanwhile, Dark just kind of cutting this army in half, splitting it up, and preventing Lancer from really reinforcing that 4th base location. Which is where the brunt of the damage is going to be dealt. Lancer being very patient with his Colossus. Doesn't want to expose it too much. Will retreat before getting surrounded. Yeah,
you have to be very careful there with the Colossus. Stage trap has been thrown down. Disruptor's on the way. The 4th base is going to fall, but can we break the 3rd? Oh.
And Disruptor already out, and huge Purification Nova connects with the vast majority of those Queens.
Yeah, and with that, Lancer is going to shut down the Queens, going to force back the army. The 4th base has been shut down, and here come the reinforcements. The stasis, massive stasis does go off.
And that looks like it's going to be the end of the aggression here. I say that as Dark decides to stand and deliver. is trading decently thanks to these corrosive vials, but we'll see for how much longer this can really keep going. Dark behind all of this isn't droning, but he is getting a hive.
Is working on that hive. Nice snipe there on the disruptor. As you mentioned, with that hive tech should be for Viper production. Meanwhile, Roach is once again diving on in, but with the help of the side defense, I believe Lancer should be able to hold on. We have held, we have defended, and Lancer from here can expand or even attempt to counterattack. But it looks like we don't have quite enough to fight outside of range of the side defense of the shield batteries.
That we do not, but Lancer has bled out the army of Dark. He has sustained damage himself. He lost that 4th base, and he lost his disruptors as well, but overall he's alive, and he can still keep going. He can transition out of this and build towards the Death Wall army.
Yeah, exactly. We have the Templar Archives on the way. We have +3. We have alongside that Extentoma Lance, and now we're re-expanding, taking that 4th base once again. Even though Lancer did lose the 4th, he's still up in workers. That is 74 probes here for Lancer. Dark still on 64. Still no big saturation for the Zerg player, and the longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for the Protoss.
Yeah, that's going to be the ideal here for Lancer. Just to stay alive, and we can see him somewhat reminiscent of that series against Ryung, moving out across the map with his army, just being active wherever he can, but I do think it's a little bit more difficult to pull off against a Zerg player, especially a Zerg player like Dark, than it is against Terran.
Yeah, Dark, he has a map control, unlike Ryung, his map control was stripped away by Cyan in that series. Here, we still have a massive amount of roaches, so Cyan has to respect it. He has to back off. He has to defend within range of these shield batteries instead. Lurker Den is on the way. The Vipers have arrived. Even though Dark has not really droned up too much, tech-wise, his army it's getting there. He's getting a higher quality army here to deal with the Colossus. Oh!
Yeah, slowly but surely. Yeah, but of course, if he can take out the Colossus before we get to that stage, that would be ideal. Distracting the main army a little bit, so he comes into a Drop Lord of Roaches, picking off not too many probes, but enough probes to make it worthwhile. Not worthwhile on paper, but when you consider the fact that Dark does want to clear up his supply to get more Hydras, well worth it here.
100%. As you mentioned, we want to clear up supply, not just for the Hydras, but for the Lurkers. The Lunkers, Bappy. We have the Lunker Den, we have upgrades on the way, but we need some supply to actually morph in those Lurkers. Otherwise, Lancer will have the advantage, and he is pushing onto Creek. Oh, the Vipers. Up!
Vipers are here, and we do get some big yoinks. Colossus going down. 2 Colossus go down. Feedback's just a little bit too late. Do you believe that a Viper died? No Vipers died. Never mind.
Yeah, the Vipers did survive. Zealot contract on the right-hand side is going to get some workers. Does go for the hatchery, and can we get the base? It looks like we barely can get the hatchery.
It will fall.
Yeah, pretty big pickoff here from Lancer. At the same time, we rotate around. There is a Lurker in position, but we have the Observer. We do have detection available. Likewise, Storm is done. We have 2 Eye Templar. We still need a little bit more time. We still need a little bit more energy, but it looks like we can deny the base once again.
Like so, that was a kill, not a cancel, as Dark is just fully committed to this push. I say that, but he immediately turns around.
Yeah, the Zealots, they do pull in back here, otherwise they would have gone into the natural base, so Dark does turn back around, which means Lancer still has map control, takes down the base, can always recall if need be. Zealots are still getting damage done. They get a Queen!
They get a Queen, they get 7 drones. There's already fantastic damage coming out here from Lancer.
Very nice damage here, and Dark is still refining his forces, morphing in more Lurkers, and as we're getting into Lurker production, what is on the horizon? We have Skytoss.
Indeed, we do. Carriers now on the way much quicker than last time, and Lancer, yeah, still has supply to spare. Still, it's gonna take him a while to get to his final form, but he is getting there, slowly but surely.
Exactly. More and more carriers. We're getting into additional upgrades as well. We have our forges up and running. We have cyber cores as well with those air upgrades. And we mentioned before that Dark, he was on a bit of a timer, and still Dark has refused to drone. He's still on a very low worker count. If we do take a bad fight, if we take a rough moment or a rough engagement, then Dark is going to have a hard time rematching the storms that connect. And
a lot of the army ends up bruised and bloody.
Nidus Storm does complete, but there's nothing in the Nidus. Nidus is going to be shut down. At the same time, Dark pulling back his main army. Alas, Nidus doesn't quite get much done.
It doesn't, but it does confirm the presence of carriers.
It does confirm the additional carriers that are on the way. Hydras are amassing as we speak. We don't really have the economy to go for a tech switch. A Spire would be ideal, but for the time being, we are stuck with Hydra Lurker Viper.
Hydra Lurker Viper. Yeah, Hydra Lurker Viper. Usually, it just feels right to have another unit after that, so it's Hydra Lurker Viper something, but it's just Hydra Lurker Viper in this case. Hydra Lurker Viper Queen. Just for rhythm's sake and cadence.
As we do see the massive roach army going across the map. Again, we want to get rid of these roaches, but we have a recall to race back home. At the same time, can we catch any stray units? Ooh, not quite. Storm does punish those Ravagers, and alas, the roaches are deflected.
Yeah, I'm gonna get an Immortal, which is something. Gonna get a Sentry, which is something. And these roaches, they're getting things. But it's not great.
Yeah, not the best trade here from Dark, but you can see here just making a massive amount of lurkers. Now, this is where I'm a little bit concerned if we have too many lurkers and not enough Hydras. Looking at the units tab, we have 13 Hydras. That should be okay, but we have more carriers arriving. We have the Mothership. We have Storms available as well. This is going to be a tough hold for Dark. We'll see if he can survive this. We'll see if he can try to recover. Oh!
As we do have a massive flank here. The Mothership also here for a recall if ever it was necessary.
Oh, we just recalled. Like, that's how the soldiers got there.
Oh, we did? Yeah.
We did recall, but that means we don't have a recall or that second recall available. There is a recall available for the main base. Nidus does finish.
And lurkers are here. Gonna be looking to camp right on top of all this production. Stargates already go down. A lot of gateways getting depowered. Fleet Beacon dies. And it's the carrier. Can it come out? Can it come out? Can the carrier come out? It cannot in the end. Finally, Dark, he has been battered throughout the entirety of this game, but now he's able to reciprocate.
Yeah, despite how well Lancer has been playing one swift move and we're going for the kill, we shut down so much of the production, so much of the tech. Going for the Nidus into the main is typically a kill move. At the same time, Stalkers, they get across the map, they threaten some of the mining, they threaten some of the mineral income here, but alas, it still pales in comparison to what we're losing in the main.
Yeah, a lot of interceptors did fall, so now the Hydra's having a much easier time just targeting down the carriers one by one.
Yeah, exactly. Carriers are falling, the production is falling at the same time across the map. Stalkers are being shut down, and Dark, he's all over this. We had a massive storm on the army, but it's still not going to be enough.
No, it will not. At least not for now, as more Hydras are on the way. Just hoofing their way across the map, not taking the subway. Taking out this fourth base once again, and where do we go from here as Lancer?
Where do we go is the question, as I mean, we're trying to hold on, we're trying to survive. We get yoinked, so the carrier does fall, and now we can rotate over towards one of the last mining bases here, one of the last surviving bases of Lancer. It's going to be knocked down. We do have the center base, and that is really the last bastion of hope, but GG gets called. There is no hope, and Dark will take the series.
GG. Dark takes that series 2-1. Moving on to the semifinals here, where, so I double check the bracket. I believe he already has an opponent waiting for him. He does not.
Yeah,
Oh no, he doesn't. Yeah.
GG, well played. That was an insane game. Again, Lancer was playing so damn well. He survived the 3-base all-in. He was able to harass and knock down bases across the map. And in a head-on fight, I was favoring Lancer 100% against Dark. But we spoke about it. We see it in a lot of different matchups, but there is a bit of a kill move you can go for. Nidus into the main base was brutal. We shut down the production, we shut down the economy, we shut down the army. That Nidus into the main did win Dark the game.
Yeah, without a doubt. Very well, I guess Dark was planning to do it regardless, but it is unfortunate that Lancer did end up going for that Stalker recall across the map when, honestly, if he had that recall available, I don't know if he would have been able to defend fully. He would have absolutely lost a couple of buildings, but it might have been able to stay alive after that.
Yeah, it's also one of those things where because Cyan or because Lancer was focusing on harassing and focusing on those stalkers across the map, it did mean that his attention was focused on that, and he didn't notice the Nidostorm getting up in the main. That could have been a factor as well, where if we weren't aggressive in that specific moments, then maybe would have been able to warp in defensively back at home and shut down that Nidus ahead of time. Again, it's one of those things that did kind of slip his vision, slip his mind, and did cost him as a result.
Yeah.
So it was a big moment for Dark, and I was hoping for an ace match, but a dynamic series nonetheless.
Yeah, as was I. You can't really blame Lancer here, right? He was getting harassed from every single direction. His natural, his fourth base, roaches are sneaking around, drop alerts coming around, and on top of all that, he's got the fact that his son is now playing Zerg on his mind. So can't fault him too much for that little tiny minimap blip slipping.
Yeah, the smudge was real, but GG, well played. Dark does take it. Dark advances onto the semifinals, and we are nearing the end of the broadcast here. We have a lot of updates coming, and we have some insane updates as well. Happy, take it away.